Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Sunday stream. I thought I'd go live tonight, check the temperature of where everyone is before we head into the deadline on Tuesday. Should I say the first deadline on Tuesday? And I've put a little poll up in the live chat just to see if you think we're going to get one deal done before Tuesday's deadline. I hope everyone's doing well, feeling good, smelling good. I'm still relaxed, people. I'm still relaxed. And it goes to the point of, I feel like some of you are acting like we're on the last day of the transfer window and we've signed nobody, because some of you are accepting some strays into this football club. But no, it seems that the board behind the scenes are doing better work. And that is the good news. Okay, that is the good news. Just looking to go live set today, see what the live chat's feeling about any of the topics discussed today or anything of relevance, I guess. So yeah, tune in. Thank you to Russ and Mr. P for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. And big up to all members of the channel. Thank you for that support. Goes a long way. And if you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. And big up to you, Si. Evening to you. And thank you for the donation, my man. Evening to everyone in the chat. And yeah, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this evening with everyone. Supper. And evening to everyone, man. Nice to see you, Andy, with a capital A. Can't usually trust those Andys with the lowercase A's. Don't know why. I think it might be the same person that creates about 12 accounts, but they're not all good, people. They're not all good. Evening, you superstar. Mark saying good afternoon from the US of A. Yes, man. Listen, let's get into this, because on a recent video, I did ask the question, and I did ask. I asked, are any tough conversations going on behind the scenes at Leeds United? And what I mean by that is, are there any discussions going on where they're telling players actively to find other football clubs? Are they instructing agents to find certain first team players new homes to go to? Because as I've said before, not everyone can come with us on this journey to the Premier League. It's unfortunate. I know a lot of you want everyone to stay together, you know, keep the promoted team together, but football doesn't work like that. Well, one player that's come out while he's been out on international duty for Austria is Max Wöber. And probably to no surprise to people, but he told Austrian reporters, and Isaac Johnson summed it up nicely here: Leeds have already made it clear to me that they want to sell me. Good. I was pleased that I was able to show other clubs during Austria duty that I'm fit and I don't just want to rot away in England. And you know what? For me, hey, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny, Andy. I never really catch that before. Yeah, I never really caught that before. I am on Alan Smith's body. That's tremendous. In terms of Max Wöber, I always thought if he could have stayed fit, it would have been a nicer fit for me for him to be like our third choice centre back. But we saw last season he was unreliable, and I think with his head and heart, I don't think he wants to be here either. So I do think it's in the best interest for him to find a new permanent home. I do believe that there will be interest out there, especially from Germany, maybe even back home in Austria. Are we going to get the 10 million back for him? I don't know about that. I would like to think that maybe Leeds could get up to 10 million, and that's probably after a whole bunch of add-ons. But I think Leeds United are willing to accept their losses on Max Wöber at this point and to move on. And we're going to get into somebody who we've been linked with very recently, who I'd be very happy with. But Max Wöber, that's good news for me that the club have told him. And I just wonder now, who else? Who else is next? Who else are we going to hear that is being actively told to look for a new football club? Because there's got to be more. We need to sell a couple more first team players in order to help strengthen this team. It's got to happen. And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. And usually this club doesn't like uncomfortable conversations when it comes to players that fans hold dear to their heart, or players that they feel have done a good service in the previous year. This club doesn't have a real good relationship of severing ties at the right time. This is the summer where it has to start, and under the new ownership, I hope that this happens, man. Lewis asking here, how much did we pay for him? I think we paid. I think it's a tough one. I think it was like maybe 10.6 million, and then maybe 12 after add-ons. Lewis, I actually can't remember too tough. It wasn't that much, but I don't know with his recent injuries and everything else in his form, if we're being real, we'll even get that. But you never know, man. You never know. I didn't think we'd get more money for Glenn Kamara that we paid for him, and we got almost double for Glenn Kamara, which was amazing for what he did, especially in the latter half of the second half of the season he played. So you just never know. We'll wait and see what the 49ers can negotiate with his release. Andy saying, I always feel we could have used Wöber more, especially in the championship. It's a shame. Yeah, we could have used him more. And Andy, I always said he would have been a good asset, but the problem with Wöber is he wasn't fit. And that was the main issue with him. It wasn't the fact that he couldn't be played. That time when Junior Firpo was out, when he got brought into the team too quickly after his injury, there was a window for Max Wöber to play off that left. And he played one game, and he was brilliant in that game. I said that in that match reaction. I remember clearly. He was like a Guardiola of the Championship. He would do his defending, but then he'd be like inverted in the near number 10 spot. You know, he was really good, but he just couldn't stay fit, and then he needed the knee surgery, and he just could never get back in after that. So I think it would be best for Wöber to go in that. Let's have a look here. Michael, you're saying players leaving. I don't mind the clear out, but I'd rather see improvements in the door first. It's got to go both ways, yeah. And that's why I've got it in the chat. I don't know if we're gonna. I'm gonna say for me personally, I don't know if we're gonna sign anyone before Tuesday. I would love, especially the name I'm going to bring up in just a moment, for that something like that to happen. But I think we're going to be waiting until after the 6 days. By the way, I'm not mentioning him in the stream. He's not going to feature, but Gus Harmer's been doing that, that work on Instagram where people show out their workouts. Looking a lot slimmer, people. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's put himself in the shop window. I'll just say that. So, yeah, Max Wöber, we'll keep an eye on that one, but his future will definitely lie away from Leeds United. The question is, who's next? Who we've been linked with in the recent couple of days, a real solid link. I know we've been loosely linked with him before, but a lot of outlets out in Italy have been talking about Jaka Bijol, and that Leeds United have made contact for the Udinese centre-back, Slovenian international, 26 years old, had a fabulous Euros 2024. He was brilliant in that, and a real solid general at the back, can play with both feet, so we don't need to worry about, but is he a right-sided centre-back, left-sided centre-back? By the way, that kind of stuff does my nutting. There's a lot of things in modern football that does my nutting, but that's another one. We've literally had some of the greatest centre-back partnerships with both right footers. Now, I'm more comfortable on my left, comfortable on my right. Leave it out, will you? Just defend. You know what I mean? Just defend. But yeah, listen, apparently Leeds United are going to be putting in an offer very soon in the next couple of days, according to reports in Italy, and it could be around a £70 million deal, which would be brilliant. Problem is, both Milan clubs are interested, and I think Roma as well. Don't quote me on that one, but definitely both Milan clubs are interested. But he is ready for the next step in his career, and whether that's Premier League or, as he said, whether it's Premier League or Milan, he has to wait and see after the internationals. But yeah, imagine like a Bijol and Joe Rodon next to each other. I like the sound of that. That's a good, solid partnership. And this guy is good with both feet, by the way. Good with both feet. Good passer out the back, primarily as well. And if we ever need him to do, he can play defensive midfield as well. That's where he started his career before he converted to a centre back. There's just a whole load of green flags for me with this kind of move. And this is the kind of one that I'm talking about. Not no Tanganga stuff like. And some of you, I'll be real with you, some of you were feeling that Tanganga one, which is shocking to me, because if we're signing players like the ones we've been linked with, and I've seen some poor links. What was the other one? Dara O'Shea, like. If we're signing players like that, people, we're literally one of the worst 3 teams in the league. There's no improvements. Players like this though can improve you. This is where you do get your incremental improvements and can probably wrestle some points off the Evertons, the Palaces, and all that. You're not getting anywhere with a Dara O'Shea as your 3rd choice and a Tanganga as your 4th. You're getting relegated, people. That's the honest truth. So yeah, yeah, Cade, Hassan Bijol, FM, absolute beast. Yeah, listen, football manager legend. But yeah, in real life though, he's showing the goods. And he's going to be an aerial threat in both boxes as well, defensive and up front. And like Gavin says here, Joe Rodon as well got his first goal for Wales too, man. It's all looking up. It's all looking good, isn't it? Matt Davis, yeah, Tanganga, a great addition if we are still in the Championship, and good to capitalize that, Matt. And I said this, if you're getting him as one of your 4 defensive options, you're asking for trouble. I do believe, and I don't mean to be like this. I think the people that say Tanganga for 2 million is a good deal is because they didn't see him play in the Premier League or seen a bunch of him to know that he just isn't the level of Premier League. I think the Championship is perfect for his kind of game. He's a physical specimen. He doesn't have to think too much in the Championship. In the Premier League, it was a tough time for him, which is why Spurs couldn't wait to get rid of him. And even when they had troubles, they didn't recall him back. They didn't use the option to recall him. So for me, I don't think that changes just because his price tag's 2 million. As I said, it's low risk until it isn't, until he then, gets that silly early yellow card that puts him on a tightrope for the end rest of the game. He concedes a stupid brain dead penalty out of nowhere. Everything's low risk until it isn't, man. Lewis here, yeah. Leeds competing with Milan clubs, nostalgia. Yeah, good old days, man. Good old days. Yeah, Carl, exactly as well. Tanganga and O'Shea win the championship. Exactly, absolutely. And that's where I am. And that's why it's good to see these kind of reports. This is what I want to deal with. And again, I'm not saying that we're going to have a star player or a great player in every single position. It's unrealistic. But I'm saying if Tanganga is your fifth option, cool, because that means 3 of your centre backs have got to be out. I can understand it then, but not as your first 4. Absolutely not. Mark here, though, saying, all right, Strauch over Bijol, to be fair. Nah, not for me, Mark. Listen, for people that have watched both, and only if you've watched both, let me know in the comments. But nah, not for me. Bijol's just a more complete defender, Mark, and his positional sense is far superior to Pascal Strauch. Far superior, in my opinion, man. In my opinion. What we're saying, Leeds need seeds from Rangers. All right. Andy K saying here, we need to buy someone who can take a set piece unless there's someone already in our squad who can. Yeah, I mean, listen, it won't just be a case of just signing like a Ward-Prowse just because he can take a set piece. You've got to find a complete player that can give you a few things, which is Gus Harmer, by the way. Gus Harmer does that. I think we will address that kind of thing in the summer. That will come. I do believe that, Andy. I don't think we're going to be left out of that because set piece is absolutely huge in the Premier League, as we've seen with Arsenal alone. Lewis here saying, I wonder how much Paul Clough has to attract players to Leeds. This is what I guess we're going to find this out in the summer from the Red Bull side. I guess we're definitely going to find that out in terms of who's going to move from the Red Bull networks to Leeds United in the Premier League. I think we tried a couple, didn't we, in the Championship, and they were like, nah, we ain't coming Championship, and that's understandable. Got nothing against that, but it's going to be interesting to see who we can kind of like pry away from those Red Bull teams, especially someone like a Leipzig who have not made European football. So, but we'll see, because they're still negotiating like a 92 million fee for Sesko to Arsenal. So they're not going to be giving away anybody. But obviously with a relationship that we've got with Red Bull, maybe it will be a little bit easier. Nidar saying that Harrison Aronson shuffle for set pieces again. Please no, please no. Pierre saying I'd rather have Tango Man than Tanganga. Yeah, it's just crazy how accepting people get, and whether it's because we've been starved because we haven't signed a player yet, and you just want anyone in. I'm not there yet, and I won't be there until even at the final day of the transfer window. I'm just not there. I need people that will challenge the first 11 in this team. Signing rotation backup players at this point doesn't do any future signing any good either. We can't go to like a Pajal and say, hey, look, we've signed Tanganga and Sean Longstaff. You want to come? That ain't gonna do it, man. That's not gonna do it, man. Daniel, don't do it. Don't do it, Daniel. Don't do it. So yeah, Bijol, we'll see where this goes. I hope that we do wrap this one up, because otherwise I do see the Milan clubs getting him. But if AC Milan get Bijol, let's take Tomori off them. Let's do like a little trade there. I would like that. Another one we've been linked with as well, and this is via Beren Cross, and that's Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham. And this is a very good one as well, by the way. Very, very good one. 24-year-old Brazilian forward, absolutely oodles of ability. But just doesn't get the game time. Now, people get put off by the 31 matches, 8 goals. He came on a sub 23 times, so he wasn't the starter. It's Raul Jimenez at Fulham. Now, the reports are saying that Fulham don't want to let him go, so it could be a non-starter. But we know in this kind of window, this isn't just what the clubs want. It could be what the player wants. And if the player sees himself as a first-choice striker at Leeds United and thinks he could do well here, he might push for the move. So you just never know. I know Fulham fans have been laughing it up, saying, well, why would he go to Leeds United and everything else like that? I get it, because Newcastle have got interest as well. But this is someone, again, you talk about ambition. And if we're linked with players like this is the kind of speed we need to go at. It's these kind of players like the Bijols, Muniz, Uche in midfield, the goalkeeper that we've been linked with as well, Fofana. These are the kind of players that help elevate you in the league and help you win games, get points in games where maybe you shouldn't do. This is what you do. And I think Muniz as well, as a first-choice striker, would absolutely thrive. I really do. He's been getting bit part football at Fulham. Him being one of the main strikers, I think he would cook. I really do. Lewis here saying Muniz can send you we can send you to Barca levels. Look at Rafinha. Yeah. What else is anyone else saying here? Oh, Matt here saying Fofana, Uche, Pajal headed to the two in the headline. I'm smiling. Yeah, yeah. What do you think? I have no idea what the price would be for Muniz. I have no idea, Mark. It didn't. I don't think it really said it. And unless anyone else saw the price, I didn't get that far. I didn't see a price from what I read. I wouldn't like to guess either. I'm not going to just pluck a figure out the sky because it's Premier League, isn't it? And it's not like the continent where you can probably guess a more reasonable figure. Who knows what Fulham would want, because they won't want to let him leave because he's a very good second option for them. So I wouldn't even like to guess. Really wouldn't. Richie here saying, I want Harmer. He would be a good signing. He would be a very good signing, man. Very good. He's one of the very few championship players that I want to get. Probably one of two. Probably one of one, if we're being real. One of one. Adrian saying, is it 20 million, Adrian? Yeah, if it's around 20, then I would say that it's going to be 20 plus add-ons. I don't think Fulham would just settle for just 20 alone. They probably won't see us as a league competition anyway. They're probably aiming higher than that. They probably think we're battling relegation, and hopefully people think that. But if we're signing players like this, that will definitely help us in our fight to finish above the bottom three quite easily too. So yeah, Muniz, we'll see if there's anything else on that. But at this point in time, people, what I would say is probably forget it. Probably forget it, because it seems that Fulham don't want to sell. So we're going to need some kind of like persuasion from the player, or a bit more persuasion from Leeds United to say, come on, we're offering you this. We like the player. So let me see. Who's next? Dan James. Just a note on Dan James. It's much like the Junior Firpo one, except for Dan James will definitely be here next season. Dan James is in contract talks with Leeds United, as he only has a year left on his deal, but he's also in the same situation where the board are offering him less than what he was on when he first joined, when he was in the Premier League the first time around. So he's been offered improved terms on his current contract, but less than what he signed for when he first arrived at the football club, which isn't sitting well. And also he wants more than 2 years, which is what the board are offering him. And I can see both sides to this. In terms from the player and the club, I can see both sides. DJ will probably say over the last couple of years, he's had the 2 best years of his career and deserves a bit of a bump in his salary and a few more years as security as well. But I can also see from the club's point of view where they're saying, well, DJ, it hasn't really happened for you in the Prem before. We want to have a little bit more of a sample size before we give you more years. How about this? And we can reconsider. I don't know why they wouldn't go to maybe like a 2 years and a year option, either by the player or the club, if he triggers certain things. I think that maybe that could work. We'll wait and see. But also what I don't want, though, what I don't want is us to get stuck in a contract year DJ. Now, if anyone knows what contract years are, it's where a player is in the final year of their deal. It's very prevalent in American sports, and they play out of their minds in that contract year. They get the contract, and all of a sudden everything just settles down again. There was one football player in particular that was good at this, and I wish I could remember who it is. I won't remember him now. But yeah, DJ. Yeah, I'm all for him getting a new contract, by the way. At 27, he's at a good age. The only thing I would say as well with DJ, and I mean, he set out one of the games for Wales recently as well with illness, so that's not really on him. But he has been injured a few times since we've been relegated, and there've been ones that have affected his pace just a touch. And we've seen that where he's been going in for one-on-one runs where he blitzed past players before, and he kind of hasn't got that full speed as he did previously. So yeah, there's ups and downs with this, but I do think that maybe they come to some sort of agreement. But that's the haggle at the moment with Dan James. Yeah, Mark, it happens in the NFL all the time. It happens in hockey as well, man. You'll see a player that's never scored 30 times in their life before, contract year, 30 goals, 30 assists, 60 points, get a $10 million deal, and they're on the third line in a year's time. It happens all the time. Don't get sucked into contract year players, man. Ed is here saying would say even if Dan James isn't starting for us next season, could definitely be a high impact sub. However, Farker may keep his habits up and may not get to start. Yeah, for me, I do want to see another winger in, and I don't know if we do. Let's say we sign a Pashal and he comes in. I mean, he's probably first choice straight away. That's how talented that player is. I do think then we're going to move I think it's more likely to be Ramazani to the right. So then we have James and Ramazani on the right, Nonto, Pashal on the left. And for me, that's excellent. there's an argument that Ramazani should probably start ahead of James in the Premier League with his technical ability. But it's a nice problem to have to start with, isn't it? But yeah, I could definitely see DJ being an impact play when he comes on for like the last 20 and causes defenses a nightmare. But yeah, it's an interesting one. That for me, it's a really interesting one with this squad, because there are some that are starters, but not outright starters. So if we buy a player that's better, then there's no problem for me moving someone down out of the starting 11 to the bench. That's how it's got to be anyway. No, I wouldn't Hyru. No, not Harry Wilson. And I don't think he's got 1 year left, Hyru. I think he signed a new contract. I'm sure I saw that him and 2 other players at the same time signed new extensions at Fulham. So I think he's got more than a year, but no, not Harry Wilson. Just another, he's too inconsistent for me. But the thing is, he scores a banger every once in a while and he makes people remember him. But yeah, no, Harry Wilson up for me. Somebody who I would have signed, and as you guys know, this is a channel favorite here, Martin Baturina, and the dream is over. It's over, people. Let me take a sip. Yeah, I'm with you as well, Carl. And that's why I've suggested in previous transfer videos about left-footed wingers coming in, left-footed wingers play off the right, just to give us something a bit different. Because even Pashao, he'd be another right winger. Right footer that likes to cut inside. He's a different kind of talent to what we've got now, though. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have something a little different, but I don't think it's happening. But yeah, Lewis, sad faces all around. The dream is over. Martin Baturina, their initial bid from Como was rejected at 20 million, as reported by Fabrizio. But reports are saying that the Dynamo wants around 27 million euros, which is around 23 million pounds, and the deal is getting closer to completion. And this is the key thing for me. Fabregas called Baturina directly to present his role at the Serie A club, a key factor in the player's decision. I've said that many times, people. And look, we're going to wait and see how this window fleshes out. But when you've got a manager like Fabregas, who the players still remember playing and has big respect, modern day coach in every sense of the way, different ways of playing the game, off the ball, different plans for different teams. How do you say no to Fabregas? It's hard. You know, Baturina is looking to be the next Modric. How do you learn from a more creative player than like a Fabregas? It goes without saying, doesn't it? But yeah, this is going to be the kind of battles we're going to be up against with the players that go to this kind of level, because Como won't be Baturina's last stop. This is going to be his next stop before the big move, which is what I was hoping we would be. You know, like I say, if we don't make Europe in a couple of years, we could be the next stop before we then get double the 27 million that Dynamo want. But yeah, Baturina, that one is off the table, man. So Lewis, Farker has as much pull as me in the club. Tremendous. Yeah, listen, we're going to wait and have those conversations. But I do think that, unlike, when we had Bielsa before and he pulled in a Rodrigo and a Rafinha, I do think it's going to be more about the Premier League, the financial packages we can provide, and a place in the team. I do think it's going to come down to that more than a coach. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion anyway. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it, Telly. I hear it. But yeah, just saying there, Baturina, I'm going to take that one off the table because he's not coming. Another one off the table as well, if you watch the transfer talk videos, I did say if you could get a goalkeeper on loan, then you do it. You absolutely do it as a starter. Well, Joan Garcia, the one that Barcelona are going to buy for 25 million from Espanyol, they are not even considering a loan anymore. He's going to be one of their goalkeepers there. He's going to be competition for ter Stegen. So they've now taken that off the table. So all clubs that were interested on taking him on loan previously, and there were Premier League teams in the conversation, that's off the table. He's not available. But just imagine if you could have got Joan Garcia as a loan signing, how much that would just satisfy PSR, and then you could spend strengthening elsewhere. It'd be brilliant. But listen, 8 million for Yahia Fofana, I'm still all here for it. But there's been no updates on that since we were last spoke about it, so not going to go into it on this video. But yeah, the loan option for Joan Garcia is gone. So there we go. Mark saying here, I'm more concerned about a keeper position. Think we need to really spend to get in the one. We don't need to really spend. And I'm glad you said that, Mark, because that's a point I want to bring up now. Because Mike Maignan, the French #1, even though he only has a year left on his deal, Chelsea, I think, are going to get this deal done for under 20 million euros in total. And for me, that's just a tremendous figure to get for this caliber of goalkeeper, absolute worldy of a goalkeeper. And then you also look at Kepa going to Arsenal for 5 million. You look at Flecken going to Leverkusen for 13 million. You do not have to spend a whole lot of money on a number one. And that's what we're hopefully going to do with Fofana for 8. We will need another solid number 2. You always have to have that anyway. But your main number one does not have to cost a lot of money. And that's why I say when I'm seeing like things about Ramsdale for 25 million, for what? For what exactly? Someone that's going to be turning around to the cup singing songs while someone nets an empty 30-yarder. We don't need that. We need a solid goalkeeper that's fully concentrated, got great shot stopping ability, saves penalties, commanding goalkeeper, and that's looking like what we're going for. Telly saying Livakovic for 12 million. I wish it was Telly. I have no idea what he would be going for. I don't even think there's going to be an inquiry, man, which is gutting. As you know, Telly, you know this. He's my number one. If you could get him, you solve all your problems. Like that is a top quality goalkeeper. But I'm not. But Fofana, as another view of mine knows, was my second choice. So I'm good with either two. But yeah, Livakovic would have been the one, man. He would have been the one. What are we saying here? If Ty is the okay, we're not going to do ones that I can't understand. Sam here saying here, Michael Cooper is not being mentioned. Yeah, he's not being mentioned for a reason, Sam. Now, in all fairness, Sam, the latest with Cooper was Everton had an interest in him, but they want him to be back up to Pickford, and he's basically said no thanks. He wants to play. So yeah, Michael Cooper, and it looks like Sheffield United wants some kind of big fee for him. And I see the comparison as well with him and Ramsdale. There's no comparison. I don't think anything of Ramsdale, but the body of work that he had previously was Premier League experience, England caps, and Cooper doesn't have that yet. So I don't know what Sheffield United are going to try and get for him. But yeah, Michael Cooper, not for me. But yeah, moving on. Who else? Okay, another one of mine, just to say as well, as we're looking for striker options. I've talked about this guy about 10 times on this channel. Recently made his Danish debut very recently. He is available for 12 million from Bromby, who are looking for a record sale. And not only is Celtic in for him, but West Ham have entered the race as well. And this one, for the life of me, I don't know how we're not getting in on this kind of deal. 12 million pounds for this potential is insane. But yeah, Kvistgaarden isn't going to be coming here. I don't even think we're interested. But yeah, just saying here, Celtic, West Ham are throwing their names into the hat for him. Another one I've mentioned as well for forwards. It looks like we're going to miss out on Promise David, who looks like he's going to be going Paris FC. But his strike partner, Ivanović, recently scored his first couple of goals for Croatia. I think it was yesterday. And listen, it's against Gibraltar, but you can only score against who you can score against. You know, one of those. But they were very intelligent, smart box finishes. And this is like another one. You get like a Muniz, you get an Ivanović in there. Oh, imagine those as your striking options. You know what I mean? There's just so much talent out there, people. So much talent out there that's ready for the next step, and we could be that next step, man. But it's all about what we're looking at and who we can attract. But yeah, Ivanović, who is also set to probably leave USG this summer, is on the score sheet for Croatia now. Let's have a look here. What else have we got? Oh, as we always have to look at, and I do want to, someone else mentioned Brentford earlier, so remind me to go back to that. But Joby Bellingham, and this is what I mean, where you don't know what you're going to get for players, because Dortmund thought they were going to get Bellingham for maybe around 25 million euros. Well, Fabrizio has confirmed that this is going to be a 33 million euro fixed fee, 5 million add-ons to Sunderland, and a 15% sell-on clause. Kudos to Sunderland for this kind of deal. That's an amazing deal that they've made there. Now, yes, they've lost one of their better players, and for me, Sunderland straight away are the bottom of the table just by proxy of the makeup of their squad. This doesn't help them, but it all depends now what they're going to do. I know they've signed Enzo Lefebvre on a permanent deal for 25 as well, but they're going to have to make some additions, losing a player like Joby, you know, in this way. But what an amazing deal to get. And it just makes you think, if he's going for that, and maybe it's because of the Bellingham name. I'm not saying sell him, but imagine, because I do think our most valuable asset at this time is Tanaka. I think, why would it be out of the realm of possibility for us to get something around this? Maybe not this much, but around this, maybe 30 million euros if Leeds were ever to cash in on Tanaka. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion. But yeah, Michael, yeah, Sunderland, well done. We sold Cresswell for peanuts. Yeah, we did. Yeah, but yeah, well done to Sunderland. But yeah, they've got a lot of work to do to get that squad up to Premier League standards, man. Although I will say I'm looking forward to the time where Derby, the Newcastle and derbies always go hard. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. What else have I got here? Let me just see. Have I got anything else? I've got a lot of tabs open here, people. A lot of tabs. What else are we there? Oh man, Rangers, 8 Nori going to Man City. Man City stocking up nicely. Yeah, I think that is it. That is it. By the way, Brentford. Yes. Now, I'm not saying Brentford are going to be in trouble. I'm not saying they're going to be in trouble. But with them possibly losing Mbuemo for a start, who is an insanely talented player, possibly losing Visser and losing Thomas Frank, who looks like he's going to Spurs. And I know that they've replaced Flecken, but I know a lot of you were fans of Kelleher. But let's face it, Kelleher is a 26-year-old backup. That's been his role. He's been a backup his whole career. This is his first year as a starter. There's no real guarantees. There's no guarantees with anyone, by the way. But it's still a risky play after selling a Flecken. I just wonder where if Brentford don't recruit properly or replace what they're possibly going to lose this summer, are they going to be in the conversation with us down near the bottom of the table? It's a conversation worth happening. Now, Brentford fans will probably trust in their recruitment team, and they're very right to do so. But I think some of the hold up at the minute is that Thomas Frank wants to take a whole bunch of his staff with him to Spurs, and Brentford are like, he's like, no. We're keeping some of these guys. You go on your merry way, but we're keeping some of our key members of the backroom staff. But you just wonder, don't you, what kind of shape are Brentford in? I know if I'm a Brentford fan and we're losing Mbuemo, possibly Visser, and the manager, who is a huge component of what we do, I'm worried. I really am worried about that. Yeah, Mark is saying it's scary to think about what Man United are bringing in, considering they finished 15th. The premise crazy, yeah. And listen, this is another thing people don't like truth, but Man United, as bad as they've been, they're still Man United. And what Man United can still do with all the income that they get is they can get Mbuemo's wages up to 250,000 a week and it not bother them. Now, maybe in the few years when the younger generation see the lack of success at Man United and go elsewhere, because that's how it usually happens, doesn't it? When you're a kid, you go to clubs that are successful and you enjoy their style of play. And maybe that will phase out as the generations go on. But as we speak today, Man United is still drawing big commercial deals, still get a whole bunch of merch all around the world, sales and everything else like that. And they can offer Mbuemo 250. Now, the reports are that Frank wants to take Mbuemo to Spurs with him. Could that be a pull? Is former manager. Tottenham have also got Champions League football as well, so that could be an even better pull for him. But the point is that Man United are still Man United in a sense. So even though they're not going to get the Yamals or anyone like that anymore, they can still get the best of the rest, which is what Mbuemo is. And who's the other one? Cunha as well. So they can still get those kind of players, but it's the pull that they've got, man. Hank is saying, will Harry Gray get minutes, third or fourth option? Don't know if he's going to get minutes, Hank, but I know a few of you in the summer video said that you'd loan him out. I would keep him around the first team for Premier League, just for Premier League match day experience. I would. I don't think, unless the loan is unbelievable, and I mean where he's going to be playing week in, week out at a good level, maybe Rangers, I would keep him around the Premier League first team just to get that feel of what it's all about in the Premier League environment, because this is going to be his future. Either way, whether it's with us, hopefully it is with us, or elsewhere, he will be a Premier League player for sure. The talent is just too crazy not to play in the Premier League. So yeah, I'd keep him around. Nidar saying here, Thomas Frank wanted to sign Archie a year ago. I guess he got his wish now. Yep. Hopefully we can take Brentford's spot in the Premier League now. Yeah, there's a lot of jostling to be done. I mean, you even look at Wolves. If they don't replace Cunha and Ait Nori, where are Wolves going to be? You know what I mean? There's so many questions, but unfortunately, until we make signings, we are still one of the worst 3 teams in the league. But other teams losing some of their better players and at this point in time not replacing them, it opens it up a little bit more for me, where you're looking at other teams and going, what are you going to look like next season, man? What are you going to look like? Richie here saying sacking your manager who just won the Europa League is crazy. Yeah, it's a two-sided sword though, isn't it, Richie? Because if the Premier League was a bit better last season, if the bottom three were a bit more competitive, they would have got relegated. 22 losses in the league gets you relegated usually. It's just that the three teams were just so bad that they weren't in any danger of that by the time, March rolled around. So yeah, 22 losses is insane. And I think he only had something like a 60-something% win rate overall. But yeah, you're right. It's one of those where he's got them to the promised land, but maybe now they're looking at a Thomas Frank. And let's face it, Thomas Frank is one of those coaches that has got so many different plans for different teams. I know that he adapted his style when he moved from the Championship to the Premier League. People thought they were more long ball. But if you watch Thomas Frank teams play, they cater to whoever they're playing. So if they need to play long ball against you, they'll play long ball. If they need to play out from the back, they will do so. They mix it up. And that's what you got to admire about someone like Thomas Frank. The only thing I don't like about him is how he chooses gum, which is a whole different thing. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're not allowed to win titles at Tottenham yet. So we are, mate. So we are. But yeah. So it's just interesting. It's just going to be an interesting thing, isn't it? It's going to be a real interesting summer for all teams. I think, especially after July 1st, when I think a whole bunch of teams are waiting for this period to reset, and then we go into a new period of PSR, which just absolutely sucks, by the way. And they really do need to look at this thing, but they won't, because it just benefits the big boys of the league who they always look after. So there's no point talking about it, but they need to look at it, because you got teams like Villa just missing out on Champions League, and even if they do make the Champions League like they did last season, still having to sell players like Douglas Luiz. It doesn't make sense to me, man. If your owners can front up the cash and can afford to run the club, just let them do it. Just let them do it, man. But it is what it is. By the way, I mean, we're partly to blame for that, Leeds United, because we almost went out of business chasing the dream, didn't we? So it's some of it is partly our fault in a sense. Always blame Leeds. Yeah. PB saying here, so Solomon could put on his CV 25 championship winner and 25 Europa League winner. His price goes up unlimited now. Yeah. Now I give a Solomon update in the last video, and the last update that I've seen is that Tottenham want to keep him. So it looks like whoever the next manager is coming in, they need a bigger squad for Europe, and they were very impressed with his form and, more importantly, his fitness last season. And it looks like Mano Solomon wants to stay as well. But that was it. That was the transaction of the loan for me. There's no ill feeling towards Mano. He did what he was supposed to. We gave him the chance to get fit and get his football, get his love for football back, knowing that he can still play. As he said this time last season, he didn't know if he was going to really play that much again. And now he gets to go back to Tottenham, where he ideally wants to stay and have a good go of it in the Champions League. It was a great transaction all round. We just have to move on elsewhere now. Isaac here saying, something tells me Sunderland will buy sensibly. Yeah, we shall see. Matt, do Sunderland have as much pull as Leeds? Oh man, that's a tough question, man. Damn. You know what? If we were going for the same player, I think we could possibly do more in wages. And I'm only going that on the basis that we could facilitate 50,000 a week for Mano Solomon in our second year down in the Championship. I've got to think that if it comes down to it, but then also Reggie Labrie has got a real good reputation around Europe. Maybe players would want to go play for him. Don't know. As a club, we should do, but it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. But we do have pull. We definitely have pull. We're a Premier League team. We're Leeds United, and we've got a good budget, and to go out and get the caliber of players that we need to get. We just have to use it. That's what we've got to do this time around. But we definitely have a better squad. Absolutely, yeah. Our squad is better than Sunderland. That's not in doubt. But yeah, if it's up to a player to choose between Sunderland and Leeds, I couldn't answer that. You'd have to say Leeds, right? Have to say it. But I want us to be undeniable. I don't want to be wondering about these kind of questions. I want us to go and sign some players now that make statements to go, oh yeah, of course we are a bigger pool. We're Leeds United. That's what I want now coming up. So we shall see. Well, look, we haven't had to lose any of our Tanakas or Ramazanis or anyone like that yet. Like Sunderland have lost Joby Bellingham. So we shall see, right? We shall see. But yeah, I think that is it, people. I don't want to go too. Oh well, I've already gone nearly 40 minutes. Already gone 40 minutes, but it is what it is. I hope you've enjoyed the live show today. I will go back to recorded videos until we get to the point where a bid is accepted or you know, even more concrete stuff is done, then we go live and discuss it in full in the chat and everything else like that, get into a real discussion. But yeah, you guys seem to be enjoying the smaller content a little bit more. I guess it's more digestible. People are busy these days. Completely understand. But I hope you've enjoyed the Sunday show. Please like the video before you go as well. Really helps out the channel in its visibility across the platform. If you want to donate via Super Thanks, do so in the comments. And big up to all members of the channel. Thank you for that support. And if you want to become a member, the link is in the description. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.